I'm Dr. Dave Jando. Welcome back to the Operation Freedom platform and our subsection platform, the Operation Freedom Health platform. This platform was created almost 3 years ago. And the reason for its creation was to fill a void in the medical world. You see, the medical world is focused on big pharma, big medicine, like the AMA, a big insurance, and big government to not just give you information, but to coerce you into particular treatment regimens for particular disease entities. Here's what we do that's different. We empower you, and we empower your body to heal itself without the use of big pharma, or big medicine like the AMA, or big insurance, or big government and their technocrats and the Faucis of the world, if you will. Now, this approach has been universally popular with you, our listening audience. It has been universally despised by big pharma, big medicine, big insurance, and big government, because they don't want you empowered, and that's what we do. And the two people that do it are the top naturopathic physician, not just in our country, but I believe the world, Dr. Peter Glidden and Dave Jando. Pete has over 33, I think coming up on 34 years of clinical experience. I have 32 years of clinical experience as an orthopedic surgeon. However, as an orthopedic surgeon, many of the disease entities that we encounter are actually based on a system, a body, whose musculoskeletal system and other systems, endocrine, immunologic, are failing. And they're failing because the nutritional requirements that every one of us needs to enhance our health and wellness are lacking in the food supply. No matter how good a food, organic, okay, very good. But in this day and age, as Peter and I have discussed on a number of occasions, it's not enough. And today, we're going to approach the issues related to heart health and the nutritional approach for your heart health without using the utilization of, if you will, a big pharma or big medicine or big insurance or big government. My partner in this presentation series is Dr. Peter Glidden. As I mentioned, one of the top naturopathic physicians in the world, if not the top. In addition to his outstanding clinical experience and his clinical expertise, he is also a phenomenal author. I encourage you to get his books. They should be the foundation of your library. Everybody is sick, and I know why. An Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available on Dr. Glidden's site, drglidden.com, as well as, if you will, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome back Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom Health platform.
Dave, you're the man. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Right back at you. Now, let's tune right into the issue of heart health. Because, Peter, the misnomer is, well, if you modify your diet a bit, and if you do a little bit of exercise, that's the only thing you can do to potentially alleviate cardiac issues. And if there's a family history of cardiac issues, not that family histories aren't important, but if there's a family history of well, you're just out of luck.
Really interesting story about that. Back in the 60s, there was a very famous athlete. Nike loved this guy because he birthed the whole jogging, running revolution in the United States. His name was Jim Fixx, F-I-X-X. Mm-hmm. Jim Fixx was an ultra marathon guy. Jim Fixx ran 15 miles every day. Mm-hmm. He competed in marathons. He competed in ultra marathons. He won most of the time. He was, the epitome of fitness. And he was just about to sign a multi-million-dollar deal with some supplement company for an energy bar, I think, that runners could use. And while he was standing in line in a post office in, I think, Nashua, New Hampshire, he died of a heart attack in his early 50s. Mm-hmm. And this is a very important point to consider because there's a gigantic difference between fitness and between health. Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is look at all of the athletes who are dying from heart attacks on the field, high school kids, mm-hmm. college kids, mm-hmm. professional kids. Mm-hmm. And this was even before, the vaccine ramifications. This was a thing that happened. And interestingly, in pre-World War II Germany, the Germans figured this out. The German doctors figured this out. There was a condition because, the Germans, the Uber race, they were experimenting with all kinds of fitness programs on their soldiers. Mm-hmm. And what they noticed was a lot of them developed enlarged hearts. So the heart should normally be this size. When the athletes worked out a lot, the heart grew to this size, right? Mm-hmm. And not like the Grinch in a good way.
Right.
The heart enlarged and it wasn't good. And it was referred to, interestingly enough, as athlete's heart. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, it's just referred to as enlarged heart, and contemporary medicine hasn't caught up with what they did in pre-World War II Germany, because what the Germans figured out was it was the heart enlarged, not because the athlete was overexerting, but because the athlete was overexerting without adequate amounts of selenium.
Interesting.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
mm-hmm.
like stepping on the gas and driving the car at 200 miles an hour, and you've only got this much oil in the tank when you need this much.
Right.
Well,
right.
the engine's going to seize because you're overworking it. Mm-hmm. But if you got enough oil in it, no problem. So, big difference between being physically fit, and able to run 25 miles an hour with no problem, or 25 miles, no problem, mm-hmm. and having a healthy heart. That's number one. It's interesting, isn't
mm-hmm.
it?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah. Number two, the heart is the only organ in the body, well, maybe the brain, but the heart is the only muscle in the body that's always working. Mm-hmm. Never stops, never goes to sleep, never, ever, ever, never. It's always working. So the nutrient needs of the heart are more intense mm-hmm. than the nutrient needs of anything else in the body, because the heart is never at rest. Because of that, often what we see when people are undernutrified, and who's undernutrified? Well, everybody who doesn't listen to us is undernutrified, especially the vegans. Mm-hmm. The heart starts to go first or second because it's working all the time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, it's the second leading cause of death after cancer, then it's heart disease, then it's lung disease. Actually, the first cause of death in the United States, if you want to be accurate about it, is pharmaceutical treatment. It's the leading cause of death in the United States. Over 700,000 people a year die from pharmaceuticals as a direct result of the pharmaceutical treatment, and then cancer, and then heart disease. And so the moral to this little diatribe is, well, your body needs a lot of nutrients, mm-hmm. and first in the pecking order there, or right at the top, cancer is a whole nother story, is your heart. Mm-hmm. So if you're deficient in nutrients, 5 will get you 10 that the heart's going to suffer, and that's no good.
That's not good at all.
And prevention in this regard is really worth a pound of cure, because I got to tell you something. When your heart does go, if your heart does go, hopefully not, God forbidding, you're going to be inside the medical mousetrap mm-hmm. immediately. Mm-hmm. And when you go to the emergency room or the cardiac unit at the hospital or the cardiologist's office at the multi-million-dollar high-tech facility, you're going to be surrounded by all of these people and all of this millions of dollars of technology, and everybody's thinking the same way, and you are going to be easily enrolled in their treatment strategy, most of which is juvenile, old-fashioned, and insufficient to the cause. Now, so you get clogged arteries in your heart. Do they do anything to unclog the arteries? No, they put in a little Chinese finger trap in the heart. It's called a stent, and they expand it. Mm-hmm. That's all that they do. That does nothing to stop the process by which your arteries are getting clogged in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the stents for the last 10 years have a drug coating. So they're releasing tiny amounts of drugs into your system all the time because it's an irritant to the blood vessel. It's a little piece of metal that's stuck inside your blood vessel. And,
Mm-hmm.
So this is their solution. Or here's another one. Let's take a vein out of your leg and we'll stick it into your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Where, it's not really supposed to go naturally. We're just going to cut a hole in the heart, stick the vein in the heart, sew it in there, and then we're going to connect that vein to the other veins that are coming into the heart. It's called a bypass surgery.
Other arteries. Mm-hmm.
That therapy also doesn't get to the root cause of the illness. It gets to the root cause of the cardiologist's bank account, but it doesn't get to the root cause of why the blood vessels got clogged in the first place. And conventional medical doctors are of the opinion, and it's reality by consensus, that once your heart's enlarged, once your valves are funky, once your blood vessels are clogged, that's it. There's nothing that you can do. Just shut up and let us maintain the situation. And that's completely false from our point of view. I have a colleague with before and after angiograms of people with clogged arteries. They go on the naturopathic program. The arteries unclog themselves. So, long story short, and I could go on and on with this because it's a never-ending story. We've got enlarged heart. We've got one chamber bigger than another. We've got ejection fraction. The heart's ability to pump is reduced. We've got a funky valve. We've got another funky valve. We've got clogged blood vessels. Oh, my God. A lot of things can go wrong with the heart. So, in order to attempt to not have that stuff go wrong, it would be prudent to nutrify your heart and to stop eating food that's gumming up the works.
Okay.
Literally.
So the food that's gumming up the works, you have a video. It's free on OperationFreedomHealth.com, top of the homepage. The 12 bad foods.
100%.
And those 12 bad foods focus on decreasing inflammation,
100%.
which by the way, as you know, as our listeners might know, inflammation is the leading cause that leads to coronary artery problems with this clogging of the. So this is not just existential. This is based on data and research and science. Those 12 bad foods escalate inflammation, which is the cause. Yep. The cause. So many people say about the 12 bad foods video, Pete. Well, that's great stuff. But, it's great if I had arthritis. But I don't have arthritis, so I don't have to worry about inflammation. So I got some heart troubles, but it's something else. No, it's all related. 100%. Inflammation is a key component in so many disease entities, including cardiovascular.
Which is why, excellent point, which is why 99 times out of 100, when somebody goes to a medical doctor with anything, they're going to get cortisone or prednisone,
right?
Which is an anti-inflammatory. It doesn't matter if you've got asthma. It doesn't matter if you've got migraines. Doesn't matter if you've got heartburn. Doesn't matter if you've got osteoarthritis. Doesn't matter if you've got traumatic arthritis. Doesn't matter what you've got. There's inflammation that's going on. So let's give it an anti-inflammatory. If it's local, they'll give you a shot of cortisone. If it's global, they'll give you prednisone tablets, and then you blow up like a blueberry. But hey, the inflammation's managed. And managed is the proper word here. And that stuff does work temporarily. It reduces inflammation. But here's a mind bender. As far as we're concerned, inflammation is part of the body's healing response. Inflammation is one of the things that the body is doing to deal with the problem. But when inflammation becomes a runaway train,
problems.
Big problem.
Right. So the 12 bad foods, stay away from them. Video, free, OperationFreedomHealth.com.
Yeah.
In addition to that, Pete.
Selenium, the Longevity Ultimate Selenium. If you want to do cardiac prevention, then the recommendation would be 1 selenium 3 times a day. I don't really care what your body weight is. If you're under 100 pounds, you should do 1 selenium 2 times a day. If you're actively engaged, you already have a diagnosis of some heart pathology, then you want to do 2 selenium 3 times a day. Your heart loves selenium. Your heart needs selenium. And the foundation pack, because one of the things that the heart needs in order to keep beating all the time is energy. And when your body makes energy, it's like a domino knocking each other over cascade thing. And one of the main dominoes in that energy production chain is an enzyme called coenzyme Q10.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if your body runs out of coenzyme Q10, even if there's enough sugar in there, it's not going to be able to make the energy, and the heart's going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're having any type of trouble with your heart, like you've got palpitations, you've got arrhythmias, or you've got high blood pressure or whatever, it would be a prudent idea to give your body more CoQ10, because that's going to help to ensure that there's adequate levels of energy all the time for the heart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
the CoQ10 is in the foundation pack. Here's the foundation pack right here, if you can see it. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 or 2.5, Tangy Tangerine 2.5. Osteo FX, which is the white liquid calcium and magnesium, and there's some other stuff in there too, the plant-derived minerals, and the omega-3 essential fats. The CoQ10 is found in the first product, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.5, along with everything else that your body needs in order to heal itself, upregulate its metabolic function. Now, the icing on this cake, as far as the heart's concerned, is twofold. Selenium, number one. Number two, the good herbs, heart support.
Okay.
And let me just read you. By the way, if you're interested in this, all of this information is in the book, Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, in the appendix section. I'm just going to read you the cliff notes here.
Fire ahead.
These are the botanicals that are in the heart support, and this is what they do. Blessed thistle. It strengthens memory, brain, liver, lungs, heart, and aids in the circulation by bringing oxygen into the area of need. In this case, it would be the heart. Capsicum, which is made from cayenne pepper, it's an extract of cayenne pepper, is one of the best stimulants in the herbal kingdom. It's a catalyst to all the other herbs as it carries them to the area of the body where they are needed. That's really interesting. Garlic. It benefits the cardiovascular system, cleans the veins and arteries, equalizes blood pressure, and increases coronary blood flow and circulation. Garlic. And garlic. Not super duper uber German pharmaceutical garlic. Garlic that's growing in Mother Earth. Hawthorn. Helps to build strong heart and correct blood pressure. It's a tonic for the heart and circulation. It is used for all heart problems, including valves, arteriosclerosis, nervous palpitation, and it's used to lower the blood pressure. And last but not least, a really interesting herb. Hawthorn, by the way, is my favorite. But another interesting herb is called motherwort. That's W-O-R-T. It helps to regulate the heartbeat. It's one of the best heart tonics as it strengthens the circulation and the nerves of the heart. It's really good for anxiety with heart palpitations. And, like the fellow said, God made drugs and man made drugs and God made herbs. Who do you trust?
So Pete, let's address this, because this comes up. Okay, folks will say, "Oh, so all that's in that heart health mixture solution that is available at OperationFreedomHealth.com. Heart health. Okay. Well, I got a garden in my backyard, and I'm gonna plant a bunch of garlic. I'm going to plant hawthorn. I'm going to put some cayenne pepper back there. I'm going to, okay. And then, as far as selenium, I'm going to get on my search engine of choice. I'm going to find foods that are big in selenium. Okay. Brazil nuts. I'm going to eat a bag of Brazil nuts a day, because Brazil nuts have a high concentration, food-wise, of selenium. Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Now, Pete, educate our listeners on that's a good try, but it's not going to do the job.
Yeah, well, if you do that, you're going to die. And you're going to die slowly, because here's the deal. When it comes to selenium or any mineral,
right,
right? The only way that minerals get into the body is if they're in the soil that the plant's growing in. So it is accurate that the Brazil nut tree concentrates selenium. It does. But there has to be selenium in the soil that the tree's growing in, and there's no guarantee that that's the case. Number one. And number two, if there are herbicides in the soil or pesticides, they're going to prohibit the absorption of the selenium into the tree. So there's no guarantee that there's any selenium at all in the Brazil nut. Number one. Number two, you know, making a botanical medicine to be therapeutically effective is very much like making wine. And I don't know if you've ever tried to make wine, but I have a friend. He's 75 years old. He's from Italy. He every October he goes to Chicago to the farmers market, and these trains come in with all these grapes. He'll buy crates of grapes, whatever, you know, he can get the best price from. Maybe it's a Merlot, maybe it's a Cabernet, whatever. And he takes the grapes to his house and he makes wine. And his wine now is really good. But when he first started doing it,
not so much.
Yeah, it was really bad. Because it's not just the thing, oh, you know, you take the herb or you take the grape and you do this and that to it, and now you've got wine. It's not that simple.
No.
So there is a stepwise process that you have to go through in order to turn the plant into a medicinal agent. And you have to know how to do that. You can't just figure that out on your own. And, you know, this is the problem with Dr. Google.
Yeah, right.
And Mr. Science Google, because everybody thinks they can do it themselves. And, well, good luck with that. You're going to fail. And of all, and this is why I love the Good Herbs Company so much. Because the way that they handle all of these steps is above and beyond what's required by the government regulatory authorities. And they do it above and beyond because when you do it above and beyond, you get a superior product. And, you know, I'll go back to the wine metaphor, but not all wines are created equal or taste the same. There's a big difference from bottle to bottle. They're all made from grapes. So it's the same with botanicals. All these variables that go into having a run-of-the-mill botanical, good botanical, or a superior botanical, and Good Herbs is superior in every way, shape, and form. And at my website, drglidden.com, I have an expose of why. I walk people through exactly why the Good Herbs is superior. I lay it out, the steps for you. And so, because, you know, we're speaking the truth here, and this is why, this is one of our draws, and this, I think, is one of the reasons why people are like what we say, because we don't exaggerate. We don't do anything like that to sell more product. We just tell it like it is.
Well, and here's the other issue, Pete. On that same on that same avenue, many people say all nutritional supplements, like this foundation pack that Dr. Glidden is talking about. By the way, all these products are available on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Purchase of products on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Full disclosure, do benefit this platform so that we can continue this series. But Pete, not all nutritional products, just as you mentioned about the Good Herbs Company and what they do with their botanicals, not all nutritional supplements are the same. For example, in the foundation pack, it's the 90 essential nutrients, but it's more than 90 essential nutrients. It's the formula that was used to create this is the max in a person's ability to absorb it. You can take the stuff, but if you can't absorb it, whatever it is, it's not going to help you. And that is where, at least in my research, this is why this foundation pack that's produced by Longevity is so superior to other nutritional supplements on the market. Am I off on that?
100% correct. It's two reasons. First reason, because it's got everything.
Yep, the 90.
And the second reason is the formulas are super absorbable. I mean, most calcium supplements, if you were to go to the health food store and get an over-the-counter calcium supplement, You would need, in order to fulfill the RDA, which is 1,200 milligrams a day of calcium, you would need to swallow about 35 of the capsules every day. There's 60 capsules in the bottle. One bottle is going to last 2 days. Nobody's going to do that.
No.
Longevity's calcium, you need 1 ounce.
Boom.
Because
That's
it's
it.
super absorbable.
Yeah, 1 ounce a day.
And it's the same with the plant minerals, and
Yep.
it's the same with the vitamins. Remarkable formulas which were informed by a scientific method and research and clinical experience by licensed physicians trained in medical nutrition. So, I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that. And the proof of this pudding
Is in the results.
is in the eating.
That's right.
So, slam the doors, kick the tires, take the stuff for a month, and then you tell me whether it works or not.
All the products Peter and I discussed today are available on OperationFreedomHealth.com, including the free video, The 12 Bad Foods, top of the homepage of OperationFreedomHealth.com. Peter, educate our listeners on your books and on your website, drglidden.com.
Buy my books, become a subscriber to my health recovery series at drglidden.com, because the information that I make available, you will not find in the mainstream. It is actually suppressed in the mainstream. It's science-based, it's clinically verified, and it's based on 33 years of my clinical experience. It's as good as it gets. It's health recovery information par excellence from the naturopathic point of view, based on natural law and verified by clinical experience. It beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. You don't know what you're missing. Knowledge is power. So get the books, read the books, become a subscriber to my website, and lift yourself and your family into the undiscovered country of holistic health.
And it's all about health and wellness and empowerment
100%.
and empowerment of the individual. I'd like to thank you, Peter, for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. I'd like to thank you folks for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.